Hi everyone, and welcome to IGN Anime Club, episode 25. Yay anime!
Yay anime!
I'm your host, Miranda Sanchez. This is IGN's anime talk show. We have a lot of fun here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk a lot about anime.
Lots about anime.
Lots about anime. All the animes.
Kind of what we do here.
Yeah, indeed. So I am joined by Megan Sullivan.
I'm drinking a diet soda because I need to wake up.
A DK pepper.
A DK
DK
pepper. Appropriate.
And Kelly Puigi.
Hey, I'm not drinking a soda, so
Yeah, I just
less interesting.
I got water.
Got that
I had
water.
my caffeine.
I got my water too, so that I can rinse my mouth out with
good.
water so the caffeine doesn't eat away at my teeth.
Yeah, that would be horrifying.
Well, there's your fact of the day. Continuing on.
Yeah, have you ever seen whenever they put like a coin or something in soda and for like
Oh,
years
it like
or whatever?
melts.
You can
all
act-
disintegrates.
You can actually pour this down the drain, and it will actually clean the rust out of your pipes.
That's
This
pretty
is
good.
a true thing,
It's
and
a
yet I'm
double-
drinking it because I'm an idiot.
I mean, it tastes good, so whatever.
It doesn't even taste good. I just
something-
need the caffeine right now. I was like, I can't find my coffee cup. I guess I'm going to get a diet soda. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
There's coffee mugs in the
I
kitchen.
have extra mugs. They're cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want a cute coffee mug.
Yeah.
Mondo, this guy Mondo who sits
important.
by us, he has a coffee mug that has coughing on it, and it says coughing.
That's really good.
And then I want to go Starbucks.
That's too
So
good.
so yeah, that's where my life's at.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a big episode. The next two episodes are pretty much going to be about the fall season because that's starting, and it's super important. There's so much to watch, as
There's
always.
a lot
So
to watch.
much.
And of
Whether any of
course, we're all
it's-
slammed with work, which
Right.
makes it even harder to like juggle all the stuff we got to do. Because hey, it's silly season, and that means all the games are coming out.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah,
guys are
big
wondering
season.
about reviews or anything, we only, unfortunately, have the bandwidth for 2 reviews. Which would you guys like to shout out?
Megan?
Yes. So we reviewed, or I reviewed One Punch Man, and Kelly reviewed.
Attack on Titan Junior High.
Yeah, and like we would love to do more, but it's just this time of year is really hard since this is, like we've said before, is kind of like our side thing, like a thing we try to push for and try to do more of. But
Right, like mostly we
ultimately-
watch the anime we
Yeah.
talk about on the show, like at home.
Yeah,
Like, so we're here. We all of us have, and Miranda has wikis. Megan and I have reviews and stuff to do.
Yeah.
So
we are doing our best, but there's lots of anime to watch. We watched a lot of it this
Yeah.
weekend.
we did.
We did. We started a lot of shows.
So many.
So many shows.
So many shows. How are we gonna balance them all?
So, what stood out to you guys? Like, maybe let's start with the reviews because those were obviously higher impact shows that we thought were going to be interesting, or that people would be popular or think would be popular or be interested in.
Right.
Um,
So we can start with One Punch Man.
Yeah,
Which
we
is
can start. So I reviewed
fantastic.
One Punch Man, which you can check out on IGN.com. I would appreciate that, actually. I gave it a very high score. I gave it an 8.8. It's an enthusiastic great. And it's a really good show about a salaryman turned superhero who's trained so hard. His hair has fallen out, and he can defeat any opponent with just one punch. Now, it's sort of what I love about the show is it turns the shonen trope on its head. So instead of being weak and then becoming powerful, you literally start out with Saitama, the protagonist, is already at the top, and he doesn't know what to do with his life now. He's like, I'm
So
really
bored.
I'm really bored. Because he lives in. I love this because if you know Japan, they love their kaijin, they love their monsters of the week, and so all these monsters are running around this fictional city, and they have like a slew of superheroes, but only One Punch Man can defeat these monsters. But it literally takes only one punch for him to
And they like
defeat them.
explode too.
Yeah, they explode. It's actually pretty gruesome, but I love the character designs of how like you've got like a crab, like half man, half crab, and like the top of him is a crab, and then the bottom is just him in like
underwear.
tidy
Yeah.
whities.
it's like, okay.
oh.
It's like,
Which is perfectly fine. And then this crab is going after this kid whose chin also could use some tidy whities.
that was the best part of your review. Just saying.
Yeah, I was like,
It's like,
this boy is drawn with a chin that, let's just say, he could use some underpants too. It was really funny.
I
And
loved
then
it
was-
when Saitama's just like, you're not cute.
Yeah, no, he's like, this kid's not cute.
Yeah, it does a kid kind of a brat, but he is really funky looking.
Yeah, a lot of the characters in this show are kind of funky looking. Just
Yeah,
like,
you got the guy with a car for a head, and just you
Yeah.
got
And
the
the
guy who looks
kaiju
like.
and monsters are just so out there.
Yeah, there's the one at the very beginning, Vaccine Man, who actually looks like a Dragon Ball Z
I was
character.
about to say he
Yeah.
looked exactly like a Dragon Ball Z
pretty
I
character.
don't know
sure
if
it's
it was Cell or
intentional.
something. I have
Probably,
no
yeah.
idea. Yeah,
It had to have been intentional because it was kind of uncanny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of very sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge references. Like, there's a lot of Japanese culture references to like the
Sure.
low birth rate and the drudgery of being
It's like, I can't let you kill a kid. The birth rate's so low.
Yeah. Which was really not because it's the right thing to do. It's like, it's society lives. I should probably do this.
Yeah.
And I was a little afraid that some of those jokes would go over some people's heads because it's very, it's just, if you're not familiar with the culture, then you may not get it, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
And just the whole thing about Saitama, like, he goes shopping and he lives in this tiny apartment and he, you know, it's just, it's kind of like Big Man Japan kind of thing where there's something kind of mundane about the hero thing. It's not working out.
So this show particularly is really cool because I didn't know it started up as a webcomic. I thought it was just like a
Yeah.
manga first, like, you know, that's usually how it goes. But it's a
Yeah.
webcomic, which is really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it
then
started in
manga.
2009. I think the guy's pseudonym or non-pseudonym, whatever, is like just one. And so, but it went viral. And
I'm
people
surprised.
have
It's awesome.
It's really funny, and I'm really happy that it's an anime now. And some people are like, you only gave it an 8.8, and it's like, because I know amazing things are coming our way.
I mean, like, that's also the thing with reviews. So people are like, well, why don't you detract? Like,
Yeah,
it's like you don't start from 10. Like, that's not how reviews work.
Reviews
You
aren't
give
math.
Yeah. And also, it's just like, giving something a 9 or a 10 is a very big deal.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
an 8 is like, this is a fantastic show, but it's nothing like mind-blowingly special that I can't, you know.
Yeah, I've been
live somewhere else.
I've been reviewing for IGN for like 2 years now, and I've never given anything a 9 or above.
Yeah,
like, ever.
I don't think I've ever given a 9.
Yeah. So I mean, it is a really big deal.
Yes.
I take the score pretty seriously.
Yeah,
'cause,
so like hides are so good. It's like this isn't just like this is like great.
Yeah,
obviously, I mean that's what it says.
I gave
but,
the show some
yeah.
wiggle room to get even better,
Yeah,
and I
I mean,
anticipate it will.
So I felt like maybe that like I was a little like I was missing something when I was watching it, honestly, because like I was watching it yesterday, and like I could tell it was good, but it just wasn't clicking with me. It was one of those things where I'm like, I know I should like this, but I'm missing something here. So I'm gonna give it another try. I'm just gonna rewatch the episode because I was also like sick and kind of tired when I watched it. So I was like, maybe I'm just having an off day, like those days when you're like, man, I don't feel like eating ice cream, and then you know something's wrong with you. You know those days you have?
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
yeah.
I must be sick because I don't even want ice cream. At least that happens to me. So I thought maybe there was something there. But I was like, I was kind of like super meh about it, and I felt really weird. It's like, why?
Do you know why? Like you
I
weren't
have,
really.
I have no criticism. I have nothing. That,
it was super heavy on action. Like maybe just.
action can kind
You
of
weren't
like
feeling
numb
it?
my brain sometimes.
Yeah,
But
and that
also like
was-
I think the crab scene was like super gross, and I was eating when I saw it. So it was just like a combination of things where it just didn't click with me right away. So like obviously I'm gonna keep watching it because I can tell that it's really good and everybody's really excited about it. But I was just kind of like, okay, I want to go to bed now. So
Right.
it was weird.
All right.
So
Well,
weird.
hopefully you'll like the second episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious to know where it is going to go. Because at the end, you think One Punch Man has finally found the
like
opponent.
his purpose, like his like, oh yes, I got this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it was.
Oh, it's a dream.
It was a dream, just
Yeah, it was a dream
kidding.
sequence. But that actually
Yeah.
made me laugh out loud when I
Yeah,
saw that.
it
I was
was-
like, the whole thing was a dream.
Yeah, I was really shocked at first. Like, wow, they just wiped up like 70% of the population in like the first episode. This is really interesting. I was like,
Whoa.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
that was super smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think that the show could be a little, because he's constantly punching people and their guts are spilling everywhere. It could be on any other show kind of dark, but there's always this comedic timing to his KOs and the look on his face. Like when he's super serious and intense, like his eyes get really like detailed and intense. And then when he's just kind of blasé about things, there are these cute little wedges. It just looks kind of spacey.
It's kind of like I relate to him because it's kind of the feeling when you're like overpowered in a game and you go back to like an old level. So obviously I've been playing Destiny. I'll go back to like Earth and it's like level 4 patrol, okay, and I'm level 40. So I'll get there and I'll just be like, wow, like one hit KOs, and I'll just kind of bored because I'm just doing
Yeah.
it to like get an item.
That's Saitama. He's
Yeah,
bored.
that's how I feel.
He's bored. But I think that's a hilarious premise where it's just like,
Yeah,
he
it's
fights
really
so
funny.
hard for 700 episodes. Luffy
you relate
has
to it
been
almost.
trying to
Right,
be Pirate
yeah.
King, and Naruto's been training forever. And when they get to that point, they're going to be as bored as Saito. What are they going to do with their lives?
Yeah,
what
it's
do they
almost-
do? Where do you
it's
go from
almost-
there?
He's like you're looking into the future
Yeah.
like, of those other shonen characters where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, 700 episodes later we get here and oh, Now what?
What is my purpose?
I have like 60 years of my life yet left, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like I don't know why I didn't like it because I love the premise. I'm like that's hilarious, and so I think I was just having a weird day. So
That's okay.
I'm
You
excited
don't
about
have
it.
to like it.
I don't have to like it, but I feel like I would like it. It's weird, you know.
I mean, just it's the first episode.
yeah.
There are more to come.
There
it
are
looks
so many more to come.
The preview was good. You know, get a cyborg man coming.
yes.
Hey.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right, so that's One Punch Man. Now I want to talk about, because Kelly, you and I divide on this one, Attack on Titan Junior High.
Yeah, so that's another review you can see right now on IGN.com. Yeah, I really enjoyed that show, and I wasn't sure if I would. And so when I first watched Attack on Titan, I watched it with my roommate, and we would come up with not come up with all these inside jokes, but we had all these inside jokes about it because her name's Erin, and you know, there's like a scene from the manga where Jean's like, "What is it, Erin?" And so like that's what I would say to her all the time. Like I'd walk up to her and she'd be like laughing at something. I'd be like, "What is it, Erin?" And then she would laugh even harder. So Attack on Titan Junior High reminded me a lot of that aspect of Attack on Titan for me because I had all these jokes about it. There were lots of jokes on the internet, like memes about it, like how Steven Tyler attacks Aaron's mom because that Titan looks exactly like Steven Tyler. And so it was almost like someone had watched me make jokes about Attack on Titan and was like, you know what, I'm going to make a show exactly for her. So I just kept laughing and I was like texting my old roommate, like, oh my God, you won't believe Hans is the janitor. Like it's just like stuff like that where I'm like, this character has this funny role, and I liked it a lot.
You can't hear this, but I'm shaking my head, listeners, because I was the opposite, where I was like, why? I mean, I want to know how this was pitched. Hey, boys and girls, remember that ultra traumatic anime about the Titans who ripped people apart and ate them alive? Well, get ready to laugh, because we're going to make a parody.
So I think it was done so well, though, because it makes fun of the show and the series so, like, just really spot on. Like, it notes everything that's wrong with it and says, man, that was a dumb thing.
Yeah, like the infamous like Sasha potato scene where she's like eating the potato in training and just kind of like looking Keith straight in the eyes, and he's like, "Why are you eating a potato?" She's like, "Because I want to."
It's like, I'm hungry.
They like recreated that scene, and I just lost it. I thought that was so good because that was one of the scenes that everybody made fun of on the internet, like on Tumblr and stuff, and people would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Potato Girl," and so I laughed really hard at that. Or like the fact that Mikasa like yells Aaron's name as much as possible.
Yes, always, and that is so good. Like, it's so annoying. It's just like, Aaron. Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
Or I love you, but stop.
Or just like, so I mentioned in the review that I thought the eraser thing. So basically, the whole justification for why Aaron hates Titans is that he finds an eraser because a Titan drops a giant eraser on him. He writes his name on it because he wants to turn it into a stamp, and then but he writes his name like, so it's going to be backwards, and Mikasa's like, you know it's going to be backwards, right? And then the Titan picks up the eraser again, and he's like, your Titan's taken something precious from me.
But that's not the only precious thing they've taken from him, too. That's like the point, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I was like kind of like on that plot point, but at the same time, it totally highlights how gung-ho Aaron is, because he immediately was like, I'm gonna ban the Titans. That's how he's like in the show. He's just always like, kill the Titans.
No, I'm gonna kill them. They've done this
Kill
terrible
the
thing.
Titans.
I'm super dramatic, super sad boy. Like, it's like,
oh my God, such a sad
it's super understandable in the show. Like, he's a young kid. He's like 9 or something. And,
traumatized.
And his mom gets eaten right in front of him. That's horrible. And this is a good point of like showing how he's so like dramatic about everything, because they took away the stamp I was making out of an eraser, they've taken something dear to me. And then like his ultimate like dear thing was his lunch at some point.
I hated it. I
so funny.
hated the whole thing. I was like, no.
So I understand why the lunches were like what the Titans were stealing from the people as opposed to being humans, because like this is obviously supposed to be more lighthearted and not crazy dark.
That's my problem, though.
I think that's
it
fine.
Undermines a very serious anime where I was like, that's one of the most, when Aaron's mom gets eaten, it was one of the most traumatic things that I'd seen in anime in a long time. And for this show to be like, here, we're going to do this thing because we're going to undermine our own show.
It's just so good to make fun of Aaron, though, because he's so bad. He is such a bad protagonist.
He's such a bad protagonist.
He's so annoying. Like, that doesn't...
Why would you make fun of your own? Do you want a season 2 or not?
It's different.
The manga's
a different artist and everything.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
the
different
same
people.
artist.
I don't
by
care.
them.
It still feels like they're undermining their own product.
I think it's super smart.
Yeah,
I think it's super fun.
Yeah, so I kind of need that though when there's a super like heavy anime and then someone just kind of like lightheartedly makes fun of it. Like this happened with Monogatari actually. There's this internet video called like something about like Maguka, the Maguka Madukas, and being Maguka is suffering.
Oh, you told me about that.
And I watched that like right after I finished Monogatari, and it made everything so much better because I was just crying, like laughing through my tears, basically. And so that's kind of how I felt about junior high. Is I was like, I remember how sad this moment was, or like I'll see a character that I know is dead, and I'll be like, oh my god, he's alive. And
They
I'll
also
just
made a
be
really
so-
good joke about that too. Whenever the first kid who got his lunch eaten was also the first kid to die.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I was like, hey. And the Titan like takes him in his mouth, but like spits him out. 'Cause there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, are they gonna actually do that? And then yes,
Yeah, because it's just so weird though, because like they're going to school, but the Titans are also going to school. It's just like,
yeah, it's like the Titans
what?
are the bullies of the school. I like how
Yeah, it's just
they
weird.
accidentally wandered into the Titan area of the school and like didn't realize
Everything
that
was
it was
huge.
huge.
It's like, what's wrong here? Like, there's something wrong. Why can't?
And Connie was like, I know I'm stupid, but I think something's wrong.
I love Connie.
I love Connie. Connie's the dumb one.
How much drugs were involved in the process of making this thing? I'm just wondering.
I feel
guess
like
just
was
enough.
Kojima involved in this in any way, shape? It sounds like a Kojima kind of
Kojima
thing.
joint. I also, the last point I want to make is they totally play up all of the fan favorite like couplings and stuff. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
Emir and Krista, where like Emir's like, don't touch my Krista. And I was like,
It's so good.
I remember when the internet freaked out about them being a couple. It was one of those things where I was just like, this is catered to my sense of humor and just
So-
me having watched this show.
I feel really bad because I know all these spoiler things because I read the manga.
Yeah.
And so I'm like super far ahead. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it kind
all
of
these things.
It kind of makes me want to read the manga actually because so my subhead for this review is a not so grim reminder because it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me like why I liked the show because after the first season ended and you know you're waiting and waiting for a second season and that never comes
Next year.
next year but I'd kind of forgotten like why I even cared about the show in the first place.
Right.
And so watching this is like, oh, maybe I should check out the manga and kind of like revisit this whole universe. So that was the most positive thing for me is I was like, oh yeah, I do like this show.
I think it's maybe also the reason they put it out now is because like, hey, Attack on Titan season 2 is finally coming next year. They finally put out a preview with the end of the live action film. I think at the end of that they had the teaser, like I think 2 minutes of season 2. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's finally happening.
It's all happening.
And Killed Titans or whatever.
Megan is not about that life.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm just saying that the whole time I was WTFing it. I was like, what am I watching?
I'm just happy that I liked it because I wasn't really expecting much from it.
Me
And I
too.
thought I was gonna be really easy to dismiss. So
I'm kind of like surprised at myself. I'm very. It's nice to like things. Honestly, like it's
yeah, it is nice to like
it's
things.
a nice part of life when
good
you
to be
like
happy.
things, and so I'm always delighted when there's something that I wasn't expecting to like that I do. But I also like that we don't all agree because I think it provides for more interesting discussion because then you point out things that I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of a really traumatic moment, and yeah, oh my god, what's wrong with me? And so
What's wrong with them?
you know that Reggie thing where he's like, what's wrong with you? You know, or Nintendo, never mind.
Yeah.
Where Reggie's like, you don't have a 3DS yet? What's wrong with you? So that's the voice that plays in my head. Think of that.
All right.
Oh, Reggie.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think.
Yes. What
Attack
did you think
on
of
Titan
Attack on Titan and One Punch Man? Let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below in this article with the video and sound attached, and also on our Facebook group, which is awesome. Our awesome
Whoa.
Facebook group.
What's
like
our
that.
Facebook group?
It's, I know. It's facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club.
And you are welcome to join us.
Yeah, wow, that's a little like after
so
school
weird.
special. Yeah.
Sailor Moon says.
Yeah. I just as we're talking about the Facebook group, I read comments. I read posts in there every single day. I read it on the train. I read it on a plane.
Do you read it in an automobile?
Yeah. So
Do you
please-
travel with
weird
John
day.
Candy?
Yeah, today.
It's fruit day, whatever.
It's fruit day at the office.
no,
and-
it's actually like National Fruit Day or
Oh, yeah,
something.
is it National Fruit
I think we have to record only on National whatever food
Why
days.
are there so many
I don't
national
know, last
blank
week,
days?
Last week was like National Coffee
National.
International.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we were all jittery, and
Yeah.
today we had fruit, which means more sugar.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
that's what's going on in our lives.
join the group.
Join the group. No, seriously, it's a really great community. Lots of cool stuff in there. People posting cosplay pictures and pictures of their collections and stuff that I like to see.
And there was National Sailor Moon Day or International Sailor Moon Day in August.
Oh yeah, God, there's so many.
Yeah, there is
days.
anime related stuff.
Almost like there's 365 days in a year. That can...
Whoa!
except for leap years. And what the hell is up with those?
Anyway, so one thing that I watched was Young Blackjack.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all watched that.
Is it Young Blackjack or Young Blackjack? The emphasis. Where does the emphasis go? Does it matter?
Oh, I don't think it matters.
It's Blackjack like the game, right?
No, it's
No.
Blackjack like the doctor.
Well, I know,
The
but like,
Blackjack doctor.
but his name
Tezuka's
comes from
character.
Blackjack like the card game.
I don't know.
Sure. We'll
So-
go with that.
That's like because I'm not familiar with the original.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
'cause
I've-
in the opening, there's all these card themes things.
Let's
Sure.
go with yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna actually, here's a great call to action. Does anyone know the history? Because I've only seen a little bit of the 2004 show along with Young Blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, you know what, I'm just gonna look it up. I have a phone right here that is connected to the internet.
It's like a
Yeah,
mini
I'm not-
computer.
It's like a mini computer.
Super familiar with all of Tezuka's works, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know of Blackjack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
I know of it, but
I know
yeah.
more about him, of Blackjack. I mean, especially when he takes off his shirt all the time. So
Yes, which this
That's
is
the
where
show.
again we divide, because as much as I liked him taking off his shirt, I was also like, there's a child bleeding out in the other room. You might want to take care of that right now.
This is just a really bizarre show. It's kind of a prequel to all the Blackjack stuff that's out there. It's a little bit older. And so this kind of goes over Blackjack when he is a student.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
student.
it's set in 1968, which I always find interesting. There's like protests going on. In the context of this show, there's interns protesting fair pay and stuff, which is a thing that still happens. So, wow,
Right. Yeah.
50
far
years
we've
ago.
not come.
Yeah, so I really like settings like that. I like historical settings. So I thought that was cool, especially when it's a historical setting in Japan, because then I get to learn a little bit about because we in the U.S. we learn a lot about U.S. history, and I took European history. I never took world history, so I always like seeing kind of historical shows in the context of Japan because I get to gain a little insight. So I liked that, but also I was kind of like, so he's never performed a surgery before, and he's just attaching limbs.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So his design's so bizarre because he's got black and white hair, but he's like these scars. He's like, look at my scars.
Yeah,
I have
like,
all these
takes off his
scars.
shirt.
I'm the patchwork.
I'm
It's
like, okay, I don't think medical students have time to get that buff.
It's like, did you do that yourself? Like, I think
did,
that's part of it. Maybe I
He
don't.
stitch himself up.
Is he
Frankenstein?
Frankenstein's monster or something?
Yeah,
In
Frankenstein's
the
monster.
2004 version, they have a different explanation for why he's like that.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna.
I'm sure
follow
they'll
that.
probably go into
Yeah.
it sometime.
Yeah, I don't know, but like,
He's both Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster because
Yep.
he like
yeah, that's true.
is kind of the architect of his own design.
There, we'll go with it. That I like that theory.
So the problem I have with this episode was mostly that the accident was just so bizarre. So the accident, it's like an ER drama kind of thing.
Right.
He's a med student learning to practice, and he's really weird, and nobody talks to him.
Because he's always kind of like
He's
doing
just
things
like,
in
I'm
midair.
doing
Yeah,
a
he's
surgery.
composing and like performing like imaginary
He's like
surgeries.
Doogie Howser. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just.
I don't think
strange.
Doogie Howser was that spacey or full of himself, but
Yeah, he
okay.
Yeah,
More charming.
So it starts off with a train accident. There's a bus that gets stopped on a tracks.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to move forward. I guess traffic is just that backed up. The conductor can't stop the train. And then there's also a kid on the tracks.
No one
but
grabs the
nobody
kid.
grabs,
No one grabs the
like
kid.
there,
That
there
bothered
are
me.
people literally reaching over just the crossing sign thing,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. And you can easily like walk over around it. Like there's people there. They're like, "Hey, kid, come here," and the kid just stands there, and you see the train coming. It's going so slow. I'm just like, "What is happening?"
Do something.
Move.
So do something.
Yeah, it was like they
Go.
were trying to enhance the dramatic effect of the
Yeah.
train coming, but I think the actual effect it had was, okay, why don't they just walk out of the way though?
Yeah, right. It's just like, I mean, you've plenty of time. Just
Like, there's-
move. Are you that dumb? Like, I get like the deer in headlights thing, but it didn't even seem like that because the train came from like really far away.
Yeah.
You have plenty of time to move out of the way.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
kid
So
was
it's just-
like trying to move his bike. It's like, get off your bike and
Just
run.
leave the bike. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why
Or
an
any
adult,
capable adult, just reach over and pull him over.
like
It's
literally
it's not that hard.
any adult in the vicinity could have done
Could
something.
have done something.
And so
Right.
like they bring the kid to the ER and they were like, he was dragged under the train, and I'm like, how is he even alive? Like there was just a lot of suspension of disbelief that I just wasn't prepared to suspend.
The thing that bothered me was that this kid is about to lose his limbs. His vitals are probably all messed up. And Blackjack, who is a student, not even an intern, certainly doesn't have MD quite at the end of his name yet, probably the last in his class, is just like, hey, for some astronomical number, I will save your kid's life. And these parents, of course, are like, well, we can't negotiate.
So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because he does have reasonings for that amount. And also, it's also a surgery that the hospital you're at was not willing to do, and so he's offering them an option.
That was not the time to sit there and negotiate with money, though. Because he wasn't, like, there was no sense of urgency. He was like, well, I'm going to do that because I know that's his thing. Like, he does that that's what Blackjack is about, but it just always feels like, I don't mind if you do that with adults. I don't care. But when kids are on the line or something like that, I'm like, I don't like this negotiating thing.
I think the whole episode lacked a sense of urgency, and I do agree that like that's kind of his thing.
Yeah, that is his thing. So I know that.
I'm not faulting him for being like calm and collected or whatever, because that's nice and good for you. But the show itself had no sense of urgency. Like the parents even were kind of like
kind of boring.
Yeah, it was kind of boring, and and then he goes, the reason he asks for that much money is because he's going to pay another doctor to let him use the facilities.
Right.
But this doctor is like a heroin addict or something who's also afraid of blood. Like it
was really weird.
And like how did you get through med school? And also how do you shoot up if you're afraid of blood? Like I do not understand that character. There was so much I was not willing to go along with. Some shows you're like, I'll accept this happened. This whole show is kind of like, no.
And then there wasn't even a really good payoff with the surgery. Like a lot of things
we're
talking about
surgery.
So with cooking, like it's easier to understand. So like I'm kind of comparing this to any cooking show you've seen that gets really intense with its recipes. Something that we probably would not make or have the ingredients to make. They take the time to explain like what things are and in a very smart way. Yeah. Whereas this is just like I'm doing this surgery and there's this artery thing that it's in this part of the leg and I'm like I don't know anatomy that well. Like I know it well enough, but not what you're trying to do. Yeah. And it also refrains from showing any gore. Like, it's very scared to show even the limbs. Like, oh, well, they fell off. Like, a kid's limbs are all gone, but here's them bundled and there's some kind of blood. It's
afraid to even show blood. Like, all I could think was, it was like he was imaginary surgery. Like his hands were above the patient. And you're like,
I don't necessarily want to see a ton of gore, but at the same time, keeping it so sterile felt boring. Yeah. It was just like, there's nothing to really watch with this surgery. Like, I get that you're being really smart, but I'm just hearing you talk about all these things that I don't quite understand, and it's just, you're losing me.
And they don't explain it well either.
Yeah.
No. So I was thinking about how I got my mom to watch Food Wars. My mom really likes, like, medical stuff. Like, she'll just watch, like, weird surgery shows. My dad's, like, he freaks out. And so I was like, so as the show was starting, I was like, oh, here's another anime that my mom might be interested in because she already has an interest in this kind of genre.
Yeah.
And then I was watching it and I was like, oh, there's no gore. She won't like it. Because, it is almost too sterile. It's just like I know that you don't want to, like, kind of gross people out with
sure, but there are smarter ways to do surgeries than just the way they did it, and it takes so much time that it's just like, well, I'm getting bored, you know?
Yeah. Is this show supposed to be dramatic compared to, like, so the 2004 Blackjack? Like, I recently watched the first episode so I could compare the two, and it was a lot more comical. In a sense, is this going to be very dramatic?
I'm not sure.
No, I can't tell.
So, I think I'll watch the next couple episodes just to see if the show kind of finds its footing. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in watching the previous one to get a kind of a frame of reference.
Yeah. Hey, boys and girls, if you love Blackjack and you're a fan of the series, let us know what you thought of Young Blackjack compared to other reiterations of the show, and because it's all based on a manga from, I believe, like the 1970s. So it's a long-running series.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you've seen the OVA, you've seen the 2004 show, let us know, and let us know what you think of Young Blackjack, because I'm very curious.
Yep.
Because I know he always demands money, he always has a good reason, but I just really right then, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just me.
All right.
So what do you have to talk about next? Like we have a very long list of shows.
Did anyone watch Comet Lucifer as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, and I liked it.
You liked it?
Yes. So Comet Lucifer, if you haven't seen it, the first episode kind of reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, just a little bit with circumstances. Not
I love that
not
show.
to quite the same extent. There are, of course, differences. Just how the protagonist meets a very important character that we don't know a lot about. So it's an anime original, so there's no manga for it, and it's a fantasy mecha kind of genre, which is super interesting to me because I like mech shows so much as they're not like the main focus. It's like this mech. It's like no, I wanna do like the cool story with the mech.
Yeah.
And so that's what it kind of seems like, and that's kind of what drew me in. So hold on, sorry, I was reading my notes. So the protagonist Sogo is just out mining, I guess, like this kind of like a more futuristic world. He's trying to find like these crystals, maybe just like a hobby of his, it seems like. And he finds this, or he's actually like hit by this really pretty rare red one, like this kind of ruby. It looks like a rupee from like The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
And it's like got these like astronomical charts. He's like really excited. He's just, I don't know, just out to go. He goes home. He has to go run a tour for his dad, and he runs into his friend Kaon, and she's running away from an arranged marriage, and it's just the best.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what kicks it off, is just them two trying to get away from this guy who's like, you have to marry me, and it's just really funny. And they get knocked into this hole in the center of their town. I don't know what that's doing there, but it looks like construction. Meanwhile, there's this like kind of military group trying to find that meteor thing,
Right.
rock rupee, that Sogo caught earlier. And the place where they fell into, they're trying to get out because it's like this massive deep hole they can't even see to the top. And they find this lake that has like these really big crystal kind of pillars in the center of it. And like they're like natural looking structures. And the little red rupee thing Sogo found is reacting to it. And then it releases a girl, and then she's just like unconscious. She's like really pretty, like feathery little kid. I don't know, that's cool. And that part especially just reminded me of Airbender because of them finding someone who's like hidden away.
Right.
And it just felt like really reminiscent. And then the military dudes come and attack, and then Sogo accidentally summons a cool mech thing, and then they fight, and the episode ends. I don't know. It's like a weird. That's like pretty much the episode. It's really weird, and there's not a lot of direction for it yet. Like I don't know why. It's of course like why does the military want this girl? Like what's going on? But I'm so far like super interested in the universe. Like it's a really pretty show. I want to know more about like why there's just a giant hole in the middle of the town, and like what does this girl have to do with space?
It was boring. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I liked the world. I liked the visuals, and but I was just bored. Like I literally skipped ahead like at one point for 3 minutes because when Sogo and the girl were talking, I was like, oh my god, Deuce, I got it. I have so much to do, and I don't have time to be bored like this. And I was just like, nothing about it really. But nothing about it pulled me in, and it's like, oh, of course, the teenager's gonna find some magical powered thing, and the feathery girl's gonna help him, and then they're gonna fight evil or something together. And I was waiting for something different, and I felt like it was reshuffling stuff that's been done in other anime, and it was not pulling me in. I mean, I'll give it the 3-rule chance, but I don't know. I was just bored. I couldn't. No, I don't have words. I was bored.
I liked it. Yeah, so I'm interested. Like, I'm
I
very
haven't
curious.
seen it, so.
Yeah, so I'm like super curious to see where it goes. Like, that was just like a quick rundown of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of like not super original, but
Yeah,
it interested me.
It's just visually it was interesting. I did like the mix of like fantasy and tech, but the story itself and the characters so far, there's nothing about them that grabs me. It's like I don't know why I should care about this girl's arranged marriage. I don't know her very well. I don't know who the guy chasing her is. I mean, for all we know, he could actually end up being a stand-up guy. I don't know. I mean, what if that's the big plot twist? It actually turns out that he's supposed to be the hero.
your soulmate.
He's actually your soulmate.
He's in the intro, so he's somewhat important.
Yeah,
so.
he's obviously going to be important later
It's
on.
always how you know.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you're in there, then I guess
it's
you're
a cool
sticking
hot
around.
rod. So I don't know. Sogo and that whole group just didn't really do it for me. I can't tell you why, because basically I felt like it's like nothing really happened. So far, it's paint by numbers.
Yeah, they found a girl in some crystal thing, and she's probably from space. I mean,
space
that's all we know.
or
something.
yeah. So I'm just like,
It's my aesthetic.
Yeah, some girl from space. Yeah,
Girl from
but
space.
It's definitely like what I'm interested in. I'm not. Yeah, I'm like. It was good. Like, it's cool.
I have
but it's
nothing
not the standout
horrible to
show
say about it.
Yeah.
I just zoned out.
So
at
let's
one
move on to a
point.
show that we maybe liked more. Did anybody else watch Concrete Revolution?
Nope.
Because that was awesome.
No, because the title irritates me because I feel like they just left off a letter.
It's like, where's the revolution?
I actually did. I almost went in and corrected this. I was like, oh, there's a typo here.
Nope, it is Concrete
So
Revolution.
obviously I'm gonna watch it, but like over the weekend I was like just being really snobby about it. I was like, where's the end though? I just didn't watch it. But
So-
what's it about?
So this one reminded me a lot of Kekai Sensen, which is awesome, but like a brighter, happier version. So Concrete Revolution is about these superhumans that exist on Earth, and they get help from an organization that helps balance, the life and the government and everybody in the superhumans. So they can kind of help the superhumans go into hiding, or they help make sure that they don't have to relocate all the time. And so it's kind of about that group. And it starts off with this girl who is a superhuman in hiding, but she's actually like an alien. So aliens exist and all these cool things. And one of the guys from that society approaches her and is like, hey, we got to do this thing. And so he kind of gives her a mission first. Like they also, I guess, kind of handle the superhumans too in a weird way. And she's kind of a magical girl, which is awesome. So, and they kind of end up taking on like a first challenge sort of deal. I think the only problem with it is that it's a little confusing at times with its time jump. So it likes to skip forward into the future a lot, and it kind of looks at how maybe this organization isn't the best. And this guy is, I guess, quit or something. I guess one of the protagonists, he just said, nah. And the girl that, the magical girl in the beginning, she's just like, you got to come back, or I'm trying to find you. I'm 20 now. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But that being said, it's still really interesting and like figuring out why things went wrong or where. So I'm wondering if it's going to keep jumping back and forth between time, or if it's going to like kind of streamline itself and find a happy place. But regardless, it was a lot of fun. The fights were cool. The animation is awesome. It's super bright, and does a lot of really cool things. So
Cool. I'll check that out.
Right, I will check that out as well. So that's Concrete Revolution. What else? Let's see.
yeah, now we're
going down the list.
some of them. I want to, I guess, go through like one of the mediocre ones I saw, Lands and Masks. So that was the first show to start. It started last week, and I think it was made for kids because it's just very simple and kind of boring. And that's
What is it about?
So it's about this guy who became a knight, and so this is like a timeline where knights and their chivalry and all that kind of thing still exists. And so this guy is kind of going around, like, I guess they kind of have some powers, like a little bit, like they're a little bit better abilities to fight or something, because this guy like jumps around all crazy, and it's like, okay, I guess you're
right.
a little bit superhuman here. And they have like that duty to go save people, and it's kind of like this almost like religious organization in a way, because they get like inducted and there's big ceremonies. And this kid goes out, there's something weird with his dad, and like everybody looks super young in the show, and I think they are. And he ends up saving this little girl. She's like 6, and she's like super excited. She's like, oh, you're a knight, kind of thing, like a little girl would do. And then she takes him home because he's just wandering around the world starving. And so he's like, I need help. And so then she like gives him home, and he kind of trying to like figure out like, why does she live alone, and why can't the maids that serve her get close to her, and all these sort of things. It's just kind of boring. Like, it was like,
Oh well.
kind of cute. Meh. Next.
Like, whatever.
Next.
Yeah, so
All right.
that was.
All right.
We
That's
do
Lands
gotta
and Masks.
keep moving along. So
I know, it's just like.
And,
there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, really fast.
Yeah.
Owari Monogatari, which is part of the Monogatari series. Yeah. I watched the 2-hour premiere the other night, and I actually liked it. It's a trip. It's about this student who gets trapped in the classroom because of some guilty feelings that he still has over an incident with a math test, which didn't particularly start. I was almost a little disappointed that it was all over a math test. I thought something more like grim or dark had happened in that classroom, but it's actually really well done, where he meets this very strange girl, and he goes into this classroom, or rather he notices that this part of the school hasn't existed before. Like, there shouldn't be a classroom on the second floor where there is suddenly a classroom. So when he walks in, he's trapped in there. He's trapped in there with this girl, and they're in some sort of cyberspace alternative universe, and they have to figure out how to get out. And the only way they can get out is to solve the mystery of what happened with this math test. Somebody was accused of cheating and trying to cheat the curve, and it's 2 hours of them trying to figure it out. But what makes it work is the direction is really interesting. So think Makara no Danshi and all the Mary episodes were like, first the camera's on the ceiling, then it's next to you. And it does that kind of thing, but it does it for effect, because it's such a weird show that the camera's constantly moving around, and the protagonists are both pretty weird. And it's kind of this whodunit mystery.
Sure. So it's interesting that you jumped right into it. So the Monogatari series is very long.
Yes.
There's a lot to watch. I'm currently watching Monogatari, which is like the first
Yeah, I'm
season
about
of
to
it.
start that one too.
Yeah, so it's cool that you just jumped in. Like, I am going to wait because I want to know the characters first, because it does have, like, reoccurring characters and stuff and things that tie back to past things. But it's cool that, like, you were able to get it without having to know too much.
I didn't have any expectations for it. I'm
entertaining.
like, I know that I could go back and watch the other stuff, and I'm like, this is part of the fall season. I want to know what this is about. And it's just, what I liked about it, it was just very different.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't, hey, let's go fight space aliens or let's go, you know, be magical girls. It was sort of like a more, I wouldn't say grounded, because it was just sort of a mind trip, but it was just something different.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different show.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to watch that for a while. It's just like one of those things where I know there's a lot to catch up on, and so I was a little intimidated. But I have a friend who really likes the series, and she cosplayed Senjo Gahara, who is a character that has like school supplies that she fights with and like scissors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, I'm kind of about this already. I don't even know what this is about. So I'm excited to start that. That's
I don't really know anything about the
project this
series, so
week.
I'm literally going in blind on this one because I don't know anything about the series. I just want to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
So there's like one really big weird thing I want to talk about from this season that I just don't understand how it happened.
What?
So if you haven't seen, there's like a kind of meme going around about the Asterisk War and Chivalry of a Failed Knight, because these two shows are like the same show. It's just like it is so bizarre how.
So is it the same premise, or the characters look alike, or both?
Very, very, very similar premises that are only skewed very subtly. Like there's just little things here and there that are different.
Weird.
So let's go over it. So both shows have a princess that use fire element as like their primary magic thing. They're both super good. They both shows have like a knight order kind of thing that some sort of like class of like fighters in a way. They all have different weapons that are usually swords and magic as well, and they duel. Let's see. There's also a lot of weird fan service. So the very first shot, usually when the protagonist actually meets the princess, is the princess is in her underwear in both shows. So,
Okay.
It's
That's
bizarre.
insane.
Like there's so many scenes that are the same. I mean, they're both of their school's objective is to get their best fighter from their school into this tournament. One's called Festa, one's called Festival Fight. Like they're
Okay,
so,
now this is getting
so like
weird.
I'm just saying like just these little listy things, but when you watch it's just like this is the same thing. Like both the protagonist and the princess both fight in each show. They show down like there's something like the fights go differently, but they still fight.
Are
And it's
these
the same thing?
Is
like
this the same studio, rival
No,
studios,
I
or trying
have
to
no
like
idea.
one
So-
up each other?
so,
Yeah.
like
when
I'm
I
gonna
looked
make
into
an
this-
even better princess show about princesses in their underwear. They fight things together.
So-
blah blah blah.
I'm like really curious to see how these change like at all. If I mean they have to. Like I don't understand how this happened.
I hope they mirror each
It's
other.
just
to
like
the
whenever
end.
you have that like AAA studio, like film studio kind of thing, making this really popular, say like a robot thing movie or something, and then there's like that really weird low tier indie studio that also makes one.
Yeah.
But then there's also the somewhat similar studio makes the same thing too, but they're like slightly varied. But it's like that, but they're just pretty much the same thing.
copies.
This
It's
is
just
just
so
like
weird.
somebody copied someone else's
So-
notes in class kind
so-
of thing,
yeah.
you know?
Right. So the weird thing is that the Asterisk War, these are both light novels. So they have both existed for a while.
Which came first then?
So Asterisk War came first. It started in September 2012. It got its manga in January 2013. Chivalry of a Failed Knight had its light novel in July 2013. It got its manga in 2014. So Chivalry of a Failed Knight is after. But it doesn't make sense to me that they both got anime the same season. Like, one thing I really like to do if I have time this week is do a very big comparison, like to get into detail. Like, I have very copious notes about all the same things I do. And the very minor changes, like in the Asterisk War, it gets a little bit more technologically advanced. Actually, visually, I thought the Asterisk War looked prettier and like flowed better. Like I was more interested with the world. Chivalry of a Failed Knight was interesting, but had like fewer interesting characters. It's just so It's just so weird.
That's weird.
There it is.
So
Yep. Okay.
if this has happened before, let me know.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know I put an asterisk next to this bullet point. 'Cause it's the asterisk war.
Get it.
That's all I
get
can
it.
contribute.
Okay, that's
Because
okay.
I didn't watch it. But I would also be interested if people have kind of compared the two, what their takeaway is. So.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're gonna put these side to side and say, like, which one should you watch? If you want the visuals and fan service, the asterisk war is the way to go. I think every 2 minutes there was some sort of fan service. Like there was a boob shot, there was a butt shot. It did not, and it got in the way. Like it was just like, okay, whatever. And then it was just like, are you like, please stop?
Yeah.
Like, just stop. Like just let me see their face for a second, please. Like,
Yeah.
it got annoying.
I want to know who's talking. I can't tell by their underwear.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get
color
to
of the
know
underwear.
their underwear preferences or whatever.
All right.
Chivalry of a Failed Knight was just they were both just very mediocre, like in their stories. It's like, this has been done before kind of thing. So I guess kind of how you felt about Comet Lucifer.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like.
Yeah.
So I don't
That
know.
is so strange.
It's
just
I
really
don't
weird.
know what. Okay, weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
All right. So that's
let
that.
Us, let us know what you think about this really weird
Yeah.
thing that's happening.
This weird
in anime.
coincidence.
What is
Or
anime?
it? What? Yeah. What is
Yay,
anime?
anime.
All right.
There's also some shorts that
So
we
some
watched.
shorts. Yep. Which we also have a little bit of diverging opinions on, which I like.
Right. So one of them was J.K. Meshi, which
J.K.
is like
Meshi.
a food short.
It's like a food short about high school girls who do some cooking on the side.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So I watched this, and while I thought the recipe was interesting because it was like, here's how to make a healthy thing that helps your digestion or whatever, I was like, okay, cool. I thought the animation reminded me of like 2007 YouTube animation, like shorts.
Yeah.
Like it was a really weird kind of. It wasn't smooth. Like there was something weird about it to me.
It's like the joints had like pins or something in them. That's like how
Yeah.
they
It
move.
It's like a
really
Flash.
strange.
Flash project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
that's
Flash
what it
project.
looked like exactly. Like a Homestar Runner thing or something.
Homestar
So that really put me off. I was just kind of like, is this what? Like,
So I just thought it was boring.
really?
I thought the entire thing was boring. Like they're talking about the French Revolution, how they're trying to study for class. But when I read the description, it's like they're supposed to be in their home ec, like cooking stuff. I was like, okay, cooking stuff. It took them like so long, even though it's a short. It took them so long to get to the cooking. I was like, what is this? I don't care about the French
Yeah.
Revolution. I don't know it that well either. So I feel like the dumb person.
Me too. I was the dumb girl in that one
It's like, we
because
didn't
the
say
French
that in
Revolution's
depth.
really hard.
I love history, and I thought that whole thing was funny. I mean, it was a
So
little bit
boring.
about the two characters where you had
Robespierre.
the like comedic duo thing, like Downtown or like something like that, where it's just like there's one straight man, there's one funny one, and then you've got the girl in the middle who's kind of like the referee, and it's like, all right, we're gonna cook now. So I bet the pacing was a little weird, but if you like history like me, you thought parts of it were kind of funny, and then they got to the cooking, and they didn't totally break down how to do things like it's like something about fried tomatoes. They don't tell you how to like chop it and add salt and pepper and blah blah
It's
blah.
not-
They
it's not
kind
a
of
direct
throw-
step-by-step
It's not like a
direction,
direct
it just
recipe,
says-
but it was actually I liked it. It was really interesting. They explained sort of the health benefits of what it was. I mean, I liked it. I had no expectations for it. I wasn't going to be like, it's not going to be Food Wars. It's not going to be
It should be.
Wakakazake. But I liked it. I thought
Why
it was a
isn't
cute little...
Wakakozake? Tell me, Megan. No, I'm just kidding.
Because this is about high schoolers in their home ec class who one is ditzy, one is really smart, and one is
Forget
just
these
sort of
fools.
in
Bring
the
back
middle.
Wakako.
yeah, exactly.
I do like
I've been
Wakakazake.
spoiled. I've
Yes,
been
we have been
spoiled.
very
Yeah.
spoiled. But I don't know, J.K. Meshi, I gave it a thumbs up. So there.
So instead of going down like the list for these, were there any standout shorts aside? Like I know you like that one, Megan, but
I like that one.
I
Which
really
other
liked
ones?
Hakone, whatever that one was called. It was about
I think
the
it's just
shrine
Hakone.
girl. Like
Yeah.
I actually liked that. Like I just
Wait, I don't know that one. What is that about?
So it was really short. I want to say it was like 3 minutes or something, but it was a kid who works at a shrine.
Like a Shinto shrine?
Yeah. And he is like praying like he goes to give an offering of a steamed bun. He's like asking for help to ask some girl out. He's like, I want to get closer to whatever her name is, something Nason, because she's like his senpai or whatever. I don't know. She also works there. It was 3 minutes. It wasn't long enough to get to know their names, but yeah. So he asks for help to get to know her better, and then kind of this like tiny little girl pops up, and she's like, you're kind of pathetic if you have to ask a shrine goddess or whatever for help with girls, and then she eats his steamed bun. And he's like, what? That was an offering. And she's like, yeah, and it's really good. Get me another one.
she's really sassy.
Yeah, she's so sassy, and she's like this pint-sized little girl.
It's a little Thumbelina.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was something about it where I was like, yeah, I'll keep watching this.
I'm totally on board with that.
Like, if it gets boring, I'll stop watching it, obviously. But for the time being, I'm like, okay, next episode, I'll watch that.
That sounds super cute.
Yeah, and it had a little bit of fan service moment where he just had his face in someone's boobs, and I was like, okay.
The very cliche.
The very cliche.
Also, that
we fell
happened
into her boobs.
That happened in both Aster Sword and Chivalry of Phil Knight, and they also did the extra squish. It's like,
yeah.
are you kidding me?
Okay. If,
You want to
just
die?
Pro tip: if you accidentally, first of all, it's
Pro tip.
really hard to accidentally fall onto someone's boobs with your face in their boobs. I don't know how that happens, but if it does happen to you, don't go in for the extra grab, because that's asking to get punched.
Pretty much.
Like if you're like, I accept accidents happen, but like once you realize that an accident has happened, you move your whole body.
The response was really appropriate.
Yeah, she was super mad.
In
In
Hakone.
Hakone, yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked
good.
it. Was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy to revisit this shrine for 3 minutes every week. Like, I don't know, I liked it.
So my favorite short that I watched was Kagewani. So it's a really weird animation. Like I think it's about 10 minutes long or so. So it's a longer short, and
God.
it's about a guy who goes kind of investigates weird monster mysteries in a way. And so it features like these kids going in, or not these kids, these adults, young adults, whatever, college students or something, going in to go investigate some monster in a forest, and they're doing it for their YouTube video. And then they find it, and it's about him, kind of trying to go figure out what happened. But he shows up at the very end, so it's setting up probably what's to come. And I really like the animation. Like it was very, I don't know what kind of animation style it is. Like I just don't know, but it was just different and it was cool, and I really enjoyed it. It was suspenseful, so it wasn't super scary, even for me. Like I am a baby, so if you don't want to watch something that's scary, or if you do, this is not very horrifying. It's just like whoa, kind of suspenseful, but it's cool.
I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, so like if you want like kind of like a Halloween-y like monster thing, I guess it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It sounds definitely better than Bottom Biting Bugs, which I watched the first episode of the fourth. Apparently, it's the fourth season. I didn't know this had multiple seasons, but it's this 5-minute short about bugs who like to bite people in the butt, and it makes people fart.
I can't believe
the basic premise.
Fart jokes.
I literally
Fart
can't
jokes.
believe they managed to coast on fart jokes for 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's the thing that blew my mind. I was like, wait, season 4? Oh my gosh.
Like-
So if you like super silly juvenile jokes about farts and how these bugs saved the world because it built a giant fart robot,
Wait, what?
this is the show for you.
That's like my least favorite humor trope. Like I can't handle fart humor.
Actually, it bangs
hate
it
it.
over your head so much. By the end,
hate
it
it.
really was. At first, I hit it, and then by the end, I was laughing because I was like, they will not like let up with
will-
the fart jokes. And
I will
by the end,
never-
you're like, all right, now I have to laugh.
I will never watch this show. I can't stand fart jokes. It's like the
I
one
can't-
thing I can't handle.
I was just like, make it stop. And by the end, I was like, you know what? They've banged it over my head enough. So now I am just laughing because like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
It's pretty, it's even in the title, Bottom Biting Bugs. Like, that's a thing. And the animation is super goofy, and it's just it's like if you're watching something grim like Attack on Titan, you can watch this and feel better about your life. I don't know.
At least I didn't make this show.
At least I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
At least
So
Bottom Biting Bugs are
I think
real.
we'll save the rest for later.
Yeah.
Like we have, of
We
course,
got a
there's
lot
like
to-
so much.
lot
Like,
to
I
do.
wish, I'm sure we'll touch down more on these, like all the shows we talked about later in depth, and probably have some more time for them as we watch them. But yeah, so let us know what you guys are watching. We always want to know. We always like suggestions and what you do and don't like. I want to check out the new Gundam because that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Also Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. It's on Daisuke. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Also, if you guys are trying to watch anime on Crunchyroll and you want a 30-day free trial, you can go to IGN or crunchyroll.com/IGN and you can get a 30-day trial.
Yeah.
So
Yes. So
Yeah,
go
yeah.
do that because
It's there.
that's free stuff. That's
yeah, so it's
that's
like
fun.
it's like the trials are good and the service is good. Like all the streaming sites are super helpful.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know, but just a really weird thing I just want to bring up: Chivalry of a Failed Knight is only on Hulu.
Weird.
So I've never seen that for a new show that's streaming. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, a lot of the shows are pretty spread out. Like, I was surprised One Punch Man is on Daisuke. Like, I just assumed it would be on
So-
Funimation.
Funimation or
yeah,
something.
Daisuke is I think a product of Bandai, and Bandai, I think, is in charge of One Punch Man.
well,
that's
then that
probably,
makes
I'm
perfect
pretty
sense.
sure that's why.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, but it is interesting
only
that,
that, but-
the anime is a little more spread out this season.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
join all the streaming sites.
yeah. I'm going to give one more shout out before we jump into the watch party. So coming up really soon on IGN, we're going to have our top 100 games article. We haven't done that in like 10 years or something crazy like that. So we got to help out, got to fight for the good fight for certain games.
Yes,
Wrote a lot of blurbs.
There were many casualties during
Yeah,
these knockdown, drag-out fights.
There were fights. Yeah, so the top 100 games list, like, be sure to check it out. Let us know what you guys think. Of course, I'm sure you will, as will everybody.
Yes.
But
Yes,
yeah.
I just finished my blurbs for Redacted and Redacted.
Yeah.
So
Like, oh,
be
this
sure
one
to
game.
check out Redacted and Redacted.
I
when
did these 4 game
lists
blurbs
come
for this and this, and I'm really happy this got on the list.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you get to know.
Yeah, so be sure to look at that on IGN.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the watch party this week. If you haven't joined us before, the watch party is where we talk about in depth about one show. I feel bad because I didn't talk about it like this. I didn't do this little break last week, and it kind of spoiled something for somebody. I'm like,
Oh, no.
man, you should have been watching the watch party. It's your fault. No, I'm just kidding. I feel bad. Yeah, because I just jumped into it. I was like, whoa, the spoiler thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the watch party.
So spoilers ahead.
Yeah, we watch
Yeah.
2 episodes of an anime every week. The anime is voted on by the community, so it's by you, and we break down and read community posts and stuff and
Yes.
analysis.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, so this week we are in Steins Gate episode 19 and 20. Before we get into these, I do want to announce that we are going to watch the OVA. So after we do 24, we will watch 25 on its own, so it'll be its own thing.
Yep.
Still debating on whether or not we want to do the movie. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, that's super good. It's important. It rounds and kind of wraps things up. But it's also kind of hard to get, so it's kind of like a big thing for the watch party is that we want it to be accessible, or as accessible as we can make
Right.
it.
Yeah, people wanted us to watch the Cowboy Bebop movie, and we
Right,
were like,
like
well, it's really hard to
you
get
have
hold
to
of.
buy it. Like you can't stream it, you can't like rent
Yeah,
it.
we don't want to
It's
do
gotta
anything
be-
that would cost people a lot of money or be
Right.
hard for most people to join in on. So
So yeah, so the OVA, I think if you bought the Blu-ray collection or something, it's on there. It's on Funimation. I'm pretty sure it's on other. I'm sure it's on other streaming sites. I have to check other things, but yeah. So that's just a quick announcement. But let's jump into episode 19.
oh my god.
I always want to cuss, but I can't. Right? Stuff gets real. Especially with Mocha, because this is a really tense show, like episode for Okabe and for us, and for watching, him finally take out his anger on Mocha, and it's really sad.
Yeah, this was, as much as I hate her, it was a really tragic kind of thing to watch because she's, you see her, she's very much kind of spiraled into this depression, and that was really hard for me to watch. And also just watching him kind of like wail on her was really, really difficult.
This
to
is the
watch.
thing that I'll get into it in a second, but this is the thing that I really hated about the visual novels, because on top of him being very aggressive, there was this layer of near sexual assault that I didn't like. And I said so in my review, where I was like, this actually was very uncomfortable. This wasn't, I know Okabe is upset because Mayu keeps dying, but the problem in the visual novel is that, like, while he's on top of her, like, the camera focuses on her breasts, and he's kind of leering at her, and he kisses her, quote unquote, so that the lady won't know what's going on.
I mean, that was the thing, like, because she's causing a fuss because her phone was taken away, and that's, like, Mocha's life. I mean, she's obviously has some, like, very bad mental problems. Like, she's probably, like, super depressed, and she's, I don't know what else.
She has a
she's
mental
obviously, I mean, she was going
illness.
to commit suicide, because so obviously she's got a
Right.
lot of other problems going on, and she's having issues connecting with FB, whom we found out in the next episode.
Yeah.
And so she's going to commit suicide, and you could see that this is her downward spiral, and Okabe comes in just like, I don't have time to deal with this. And it's sad, like, seeing that, like, how he has to treat her like that. I mean, but I'm not justifying him, like, sexually assaulting her,
yeah.
but
So he doesn't,
don't-
but in the visual novel, it just
Yeah.
takes this bizarre. There's something like in the anime, it's not him being like that. Like, they tone it down quite a bit. But in the visual novel, if
Yeah.
I may,
Yeah.
it really bothered me because of the way that they dealt with it. Like, I was really uncomfortable going through that, and so I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because people really got mad at me with the visual novel, where I gave it a lower score, and one of the reasons was because this particular scene was very disturbing, because it's like the game was like, checking this girl out who's pinned to the ground, who's clearly mentally ill, and Okabe's like kind of out of character almost. It's like I'm like, I know the whole thing is tragic, and he's like, Mayuri's gonna die and I don't care anymore. So in the anime it's not as bad, but this is my least favorite episode because again I feel like it's really hard to watch for me, and I don't really care if everyone disagrees with me.
I think that's
like,
also
this
the
is
thing
really
where you
hard for
kind of
me to
have to
watch.
remove yourself from the visual novel and anime. Like they're two separate things.
They're two separate things, but even the anime, even if I didn't do the visual novel, I was still left with this uneasy, like, this was difficult, and, you know, everyone's going to yell at me, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I have to be
I
super
understand.
honest about it, or I'm just like, I didn't like it in the anime either, where I'm just like, it was very uncomfortable because this girl is clearly mentally ill.
Yeah, but it's also hard to feel sympathy for her because she kills Mayuri.
Well, I'm
she
not
does
saying
it over and over,
feel
and she's
sympathy for
she's
her,
a pawn.
but the
and
fact that Okabe
she's
is
terrible,
out of character was
like,
was
she's
weird.
a bad person.
She's clearly a very weak person.
Yes.
And that's very separate from having a mental illness, because having a mental illness does not make you weak. But
Right.
she's very weak in that she is very reliant on other people, and when a FB kind of removes themselves, she totally breaks. Like, she can't do anything on her own, and it's very clear that she's a bad person because she's a weak person. She does these bad things because she can't say no. And so I just despise her for that. But it was really hard to watch because I think something that this show does well is using environments to set mood. So when you're in her apartment, there's no lights on, it's dark. And I don't know, like I've had like harder times in my life, and so seeing that and seeing it as a reflection of myself was really hard, because like it's hard when you've felt that low and you see it in somebody else that you already decided you hate. So that was the hardest thing for me watching this episode, was I hate her so much, but at the same time, like, they've created in this episode the right mood for how she feels. It was just really, it affected me a lot.
I think, to your point of her being a weak person, like one of the biggest points was Okabe said, or when they were talking about FB and like, why do you care? Like, they're leaving you to die. They don't care about you. And she's like, you know, or FB made Moeka feel like she belonged. And then Okabe's like, you fool, so did we. Yeah. And like, because Mayuri is like one of the most welcoming people, and just try to make her feel like a member of the lab. And that's, you know, a thing that just makes her so weak, is that she's not even trying. And she's just, I mean, I get that, yeah, you have someone who needs you, but then when you completely ignore somebody else who's trying to help as well, it's just...
Yeah, why did you prioritize the person who would throw you away over the people who took you in?
Yeah, and it's like she's never even met FB. It's like, you've
never met this person. It's almost like for Moeka, it's easier to have that separation of text messages and emails. Right. She clearly has problems socially, so like that's one of the things for her. I think having that barrier helps.
Maybe helps, and that's why she chose FB over, you know, the
right,
lab.
Because I mean, even when she's in the same room as Okabe in previous episodes, she's texting him because it's just easier for her, which I always thought was really weird. Like, when I first was introduced to the character, I was like, okay, well, go get some help, please, because I'm worried about you. Now I don't care about her, but it's just like, she's so weak. She's just the weakest human, just the lowest. I despise her. It was still rough to watch, and I don't justify how Okabe treated her, because like the end result for her is the same regardless of his justification, but it was very understandable because he's time linked so many times, and he has all this built up frustration. He's slowly losing it, right? And she is the source of all of this.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, like I get that. Yeah. But just emotionally, for some reason, it just, I mean, it's hard to watch because she is so
you can't
weak.
control how it affects you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, personally, I think the fight part wasn't the bad part. Like, that's not what bothered me. Like, he had to get her phone. Like, he had to punch her. Like, just to clarify, like, what we have problems with and what we don't. Yeah. Like, I think he was totally justified. Like, he just had to get the phone from her. He had to reverse the email.
It had to happen. And also, when he reverses it, it's like doing it never happened. So it's kind of like, okay. Where you're like, well, once you reverse the email, like, this whole situation where I'm punching you hasn't happened.
So I think the best part of it, though, is that, like, Okabe kind of seems to, like, feel bad about what he did, like, what he had to do. And he does try to reason with her and try to help her out at least, you know.
Right, because
like,
he's not
get
a
over
weak,
FB.
terrible person.
Yeah, he's like, you're about to commit suicide. Like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to help them. They don't care about you. Like, we cared about you.
Yeah.
Stop.
Which is interesting because if we sort of slide into like episode 20, that you see a little bit more of that. Like, he's not a terrible person, and that he has every right to hate her, and yet there's this almost bonding thing going on. So I think we have a comment about that, right? Don't we?
Do we?
I don't
About
know.
which one?
Do we? About episode 20?
Yeah, we do. It's on the back. There's 2.
Okay.
Okay, Evil Twin said, episode 20, in my opinion, left some important stuff. I would have liked the anime to explore a little bit more about Mr. Braun and the Rounders, the terrible things that CERN does to them, and the fact that Mr. Braun is not a monster that only manipulated Moeka. Somehow he cared for her. I didn't like the resolution that much, but again, maybe they didn't have time to expand on it. I think you get the feeling that, yeah, like Mr. Braun is just shoved in a corner, and he's just, like Moeka, is doing what he's told. And you're kind of curious about how he gets involved with that, too.
Yeah, it's very clear that there's a lot of layers to this, right? Like, Mr. Brown is not the puppet master here.
Yeah.
But he is the puppet master over Moeka. So it's weird. There's a lot of levels. And yeah, that was...
Yeah, I like the parallel between him and Moeka.
They're very similar.
They're really similar,
Which
which is really
makes sense
odd.
because he knows how to manipulate her, probably because they're
He
so
understands.
similar.
Yeah,
they're
he
so
knows.
similar.
And just like goes to show how terrible CERN is. Like
Right? They're the absolute worst.
The
Yeah,
actual, like
how
so
they have
evil.
everything so, like, how did even Mr. Braun get involved? Like, what weird coincidence happened that Okabe just happened to rent out the place above his shop?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's all these like weird things that I kind of like wish, that they would have touched on more, especially about the Rounders, because we don't really know how tight knit CERN does things. I mean, but it's also kind of okay, like that sense of mystery. Like, obviously CERN is like super powerful and they know what they're doing. And you get that.
Yeah, I prefer the emotional impact, like irregardless of how CERN works on a more granular level. I like that you can see the effect that they have, which is devastating on all of these characters.
Right. They have touched everyone's lives in such a negative way.
Yeah.
And you can see how it affects everybody. God.
Super heavy stuff. But now we know. But I thought that was interesting. Like when that twist came, and I was like, no way, Mr. Braun's involved in this. Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that actually. Like I was like, oh, really? Him? Really?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I probably like could have seen it coming, but I didn't.
I mean, they keep it. They don't really hint at it. They're very
right?
good at just saying.
Yeah, there's no foreshadowing of that, really.
Yeah, I mean, like I was trying to. I went back. Like I didn't actually go back and watch things, but I tried to think. Like, okay, so all the appearances of Mr. Brown, there's not a whole lot to indicate that he's anything but a grumpy landlord.
I mean, like almost in a way, he's kind of a watchdog, but you don't ever suspect him because there's no reason to.
Although it kind of like at one point it crossed my mind. At one point, because I'm like he can hear them and he's like right below them, kind of thing. But then because there was no foreshadowing, because there was nothing that was hinted at unless I missed something, that I was like I dismissed it. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I think I think it's maybe it's a red herring or whatever, but it's not even that. It's just like all of a sudden it's like surprise. He's the one who's looking for the computer.
Yeah, and so just kind of trying to wrap the episode because it's going long. Sorry, guys. I hope you're enjoying it. Daniel Salamander 119 on Twitter said no, and now he realizes what undoing everything fully means. I don't want to lose Kurisu. So at the very end of the episode, like you're like, okay, well we reversed something, it's fine. And then Kurisu brings up the thing. It's like, oh yeah, you never told me that D-mail, the first one that affected me. What happened? It's just like, oh yeah, you were dead.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that until this episode.
Yeah, I
And then
didn't
was
either. I
like-
totally forgot about it.
Yeah, I had totally like I remembered that she had died, but it was like it was like a footnote. And then when he realizes that, I was like, oh my god.
And they play like this really tense music too. It just like sets. They just set the
because
scene so well.
It's about. I mean, what the implication is, it's like you have to choose.
No, yeah,
who
now you have to
lives.
choose between Mayuri, your childhood best friend, and Kurisu, who has helped you through this time and time and time again. You know you can
Yeah.
trust her, and you kind of like her, kind of can tell.
Yeah, everybody
And so
knows.
everybody
Yeah.
knows, and now it's like, how do you choose? And for now, there doesn't seem to be any alternate
And there's
solution.
just so many mysteries with that too, because we don't know who killed her.
Yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
a big thing. It's just like she was fine and they're arguing and then she was
And then she
dead.
showed up dead.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we know so little about that first kind of D-mail, because he sent it on accident too. So there's a lot that's kind of up in the air with that. And I was gonna say something about Kurisu. Never mind. I don't want her
She's
to die.
awesome. That's all I
great.
know.
She's
She's my favorite character, hands
love
down.
her
I'm
so
gonna
much.
get a Kurisu figure.
Nice.
She's awesome.
To go with
my
Ferris. They could be best
Parents
friends.
I'll get my Yuri eventually.
Yes, we're all gonna get our characters. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the end because it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, sorry guys, it's episode 19 was really hard
thank
for
you.
me.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird because it's easy to feel like, well, she deserved it, but really, like, the thing about Steins is that characters aren't that simple. Like, none of them are.
Right,
Yeah.
there's
Like, nobody
no-
is just one-sided.
That's what
You
I do
know,
like
kinda
about
thing.
this show a lot is
Right.
that everyone has sort of a complex past. There's no, it doesn't feel like there's any filler characters, which I really like.
It's a brilliant example of how to make a character.
Yeah.
Because there is no character you can just write off completely as, fitting into a specific trope or being, completely in the wrong or completely in the right.
Yeah, I like that even my Yuri, who I hated at first, has now like come full circle. It's one of my favorite characters.
She's
so
so
Yeah,
important.
and then she goes and does the thing where she's like, "There's a kidnapping" or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so she's not just perfect in rainbows. She also did something real dumb.
Yeah,
so,
the
No one
same
said she was the
episode.
smartest.
Yeah.
right. So there's every character has something where, but that's what endears me to them. So like, it's nice to see people that aren't portrayed as like just perfect and flawless, because that's not how people are.
Or completely incompetent. Like they have one good thing and one bad thing about
Everyone
them.
has something they can contribute. So it's just such a strong character show
Yeah.
too.
Such a great show. Thank you guys for picking it.
Yes, thank you.
So, ending the episode, you can follow me on Twitter at HavocRose. Megan.
Megan, MEGHAN_IGN.
Inky Dojiko, INKYDOJIKKO.
The cheer of every week.
Yeah, so I have to do it. It's hard to remember otherwise.
Yeah, and then you have to end it with yay anime.
Nope, not doing that. Nope.
Yay.
I was
It's
very
happening.
I was always
It's happening.
Anti cheerleading. Nope. I'm about martial arts. That's what I do.
Oh.
Can you do some sort of like martial arts move as you do it?
Just do different blocks.
Yeah,
as
do
I
different
my
blocks.
name. Hey, next time.
What is this show?
What
Yay,
is
anime, guys.
anime?
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for joining
Yes,
us.
yay anime. See you guys
Yay,
next week.
anime. Bye, guys.